Hey guys, I'm here. It's Carol Ward, and I'm sorry, but I have my camera turned a different way. So my eyes look like they're looking in an opposite direction, so bear with me. I haven't figured that out yet. Hopefully you can see me okay. Just make sure if you're here, I can't see the comments just yet, or even who's on. But tonight we are going to talk about your thyroid function and how it could affect menopause. And some things that people might not realize or might think are menopause symptoms, but actually might be thyroid disease. So we'll start off with that. We'll wait just a moment to see if anyone is able to post any comments. All right, well, let me go ahead and get started, and bear with me because I'm going to be looking at some notes that I have with me. So when you have a thyroid issue, and sometimes, just so you know, as we get older, more and more people actually do have a thyroid issue. And that is because of all of the chemicals in our food, the lack of iodine in our food, that causes our thyroids to become underactive. And just so that you know, research has shown that more and more people who have thyroid disease actually have a gluten intolerance or dairy intolerance, or both. And they attribute that to Hashimoto's. So 90% of the people who are diagnosed with thyroid disease actually have Hashimoto's disease, which is an autoimmune disease which causes your thyroid to go underactive. So, and the statistics are that as you get older, you're more likely to actually get thyroid disease. In fact, let me look for my notes. I apologize for looking for the numbers, but I just wanted to make sure I had the numbers here for you as to how many people were diagnosed over the age of 50. I may have to get back to you on that, but it'll certainly be on my blog at carolwardfitness.com. So it says, just some of the information I've actually found is that a lot of people will go undiagnosed with low thyroid or hypothyroidism by age 50. Actually, research has shown that 1 in 12 women has a significant degree of hypothyroidism. And that's why you may want to look in my blog. I think I had a blog that was about knowing your numbers and knowing what to look for in your blood work. But also, it's really taking charge of asking your doctor to really go over the details with you of your blood work, and not asking just for a TSH. As we get older, we need to make sure that we're looking at our T3, T4, our free T3, our free T4, and our reverse T3. All of those things work cohesively to make our thyroid function properly. And if our thyroid isn't functioning properly, it can cause symptoms that mimic menopause. And that's why it is oftentimes you go to the doctor and they just tell you, oh, you're over the age of 50. All those symptoms of heat, emotional or irritability, being emotional, those could be attributed to menopause, but they could also be worsened if you have a low functioning thyroid. Same goes for if you have any kind of, I'm going to just get real here, ladies, vaginal dryness. That could also be affected by that low functioning thyroid. So in thyroid disease, as you might remember me telling you in some of my past videos, what happens is if you're low thyroid, hypothyroid, oftentimes what you'll see is hair falling out, or hair getting thinner, getting really dry and not looking as shiny, eyebrows falling out. You might be, if you have menopause, you won't be so cold sensitive, but in my case, it was very hypothyroid. So at this point, and so I was very cold sensitive, very, very, very dry hands, maybe a rough voice. And because your thyroid is taxed, meaning it's slow functioning, it's making your body work harder. It's kind of like you're fighting against yourself, and it's making your body work harder so that you can deal with the daily stresses of life. And the more stress and tax it is, the harder it is for you to actually, for your thyroid to function. So it's like it's constantly playing, you know, speed up, slow down, to kind of keep up with you. So what happens is that if you're already feeling some of the effects of menopause, like the hot flashes, you're going to, because your thyroid is trying to keep up, it is actually being taxed. It's actually going to cause more heat in those hot flashes. It's going to cause more symptoms. It's going to cause more dryness, more of these mood swings if you already have a low functioning thyroid, or if you have an undiagnosed low functioning thyroid. So it's very important to make sure to just not trust your doctor who says, yeah, your thyroid is great, it's under a 5.0 or under a 3.5. When I went to the doctor for my last visit, I guess because of my age, they said I had to be under a 5.0. I know a couple of years ago, the number for your TSH had to be a 3.5 or under. That means that if you're in that range, you should be in what they consider a normal functioning thyroid range. The problem is that everyone, even if you're under a 5.0, your body might function better at a 2.5 or under. So you need to know your body. The other thing too is, as I mentioned, those other T3, T4, free T3, free T4, and your reverse T3, all of that affects your thyroid. It's the only way you're going to know where your body functions the best is to do a thyroid panel, a full thyroid panel, and see how you feel. And then when you know what those markers are, if they're off, you'll be able to have a conversation with your doctor about them. The other thing is to ask for, when you go see a doctor, the thyroid antibodies, which test you to see if you have Hashimoto's disease. And then also ask about adrenal fatigue, because oftentimes if you have an overtaxed thyroid, then you might go into adrenal fatigue, and adrenal fatigue can cause some of the similar symptoms of menopause and also thyroid disease as well. The irritability, the dry skin, the dry hair, lackluster in your hair falling out. It's just really adding to the equation, adding on top of everything, causing those menopausal symptoms to be exasperated. So when you see a doctor or you see a friend and they tell you, yes, I'm having bad hot flashes, or your doctor saying, yes, that must be because of menopause, just don't accept that, because it might not be just menopause. Menopause symptoms should not be to the degree that they are in some women, and I believe that the reason that they are to that degree is because of undiagnosed underactive thyroid. It's also important, again, to keep in mind our nutrition. When we're talking about thyroid disease, we'll be talking about the details of things that you're missing in your nutrition and things you may want to get as a supplement. But as always, I like you to remember, please check with your doctor. Don't take anything that I share with you as advice that this is what you should do. Check with your doctor and see what your doctor says and recommends. And but just make sure you do some research and have an open conversation with your doctor about what you're learning, and that way you can actually make informed decisions about your health care. That's what it's all about. It's just making sure that you're aware of the research that's out there, and make sure that you're taking that with you to your doctor. So if you're posting questions or you're online, I'm sorry I can't see any of the comments, so I apologize. But just know that if there are questions I haven't answered, you can feel free to put them in the comment section, and I'll go back and answer them once I'm finished with the live tonight. But I thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope that that gave you at least some kind of information to help you, just so that you're aware. Listen to your body, listen what it tells you, and if your symptoms of menopause are worse than what you think that they should be, don't just write it off as this is menopause. It very well could be an underactive thyroid. And by the way, it could also be an overactive thyroid, meaning hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism is an overactive thyroid that creates heat in your body sometimes, simply for the fact that it's in a hyper mode, and it can also cause heart problems and tachycardia. So it's really important to really listen to your body and to make sure that you ask a lot of questions when you go see the doctor. I can't stress that enough, that 15 minutes, you need to go in armed with questions, armed with research, armed with information, so that you can ask all the questions that you need to ask, that you're taking your taking control of your health. You're taking it into your own hands versus just letting them say, no, it's got to be this or it's got to be that. It might not be any of those things. It could be something completely different that's causing your symptoms to exasperate. So, so again, just to go over it real quickly one more time, we talked about menopause symptoms and how they're very similar to hypothyroid symptoms. How if you're not already hypothyroid, that you might be underactive thyroid and not even realize it, and that might be causing your symptoms for your menopause to be exasperated. So, and you might need to consult a doctor to find out more about your blood panel. You could potentially be hyperthyroid as well. That's another option that's going into the overactive thyroid area. And then we talked about asking your doctor to do testing for not only the full thyroid panel, but also a Hashimoto's testing. And you do that by asking for them to test your thyroid antibodies. So I hope that helps clear up some things. Of course, the details will be in my blog. I'm going to have that up between probably 10:30 and 11:30 tonight. So just know it'll be a late night blogging, but I'll have that up in just a little bit. And I thank you guys for tuning in, and thanks for sticking around. All right, have a good one. Take care. Bye now.